We can't say the future without AI. I mean, there's no way around it. 50% of workers now believe AI is going to improve their experience. When I come into the meeting room, I need a way to incorporate my AI with what's going on in the meeting. It's almost a bring your own AI type of a concept. Most of what we do in our day-to-day is going to change significantly.
Hear the latest AV trends and predictions in this episode of Crestron's Smarter Spaces podcast on your preferred podcast platform.
I am not an AI expert, so don't throw things at me. Getting those systems that are already touching and controlling, because they're control systems, our systems in our classrooms and our lecture halls, and saying, you know, good morning, Lisle. You got 3 problems over here on the West Hall.
So you want Hal?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Right? It's not where we think it is. We keep having a mental formation of HAL, which is AGI, and not realizing that when, you know, Cisco and QSC and all these guys and Biamp are talking about AI, it's really like advanced machine learning. So here's a ton of data coming to you, a ton of signal streams, camera control data, whatever. Let me, with my, million hands, just really pull all this into a sensible thing quickly. It's not HAL.
Shut your mouth, wimp cake!
Hey, don't sass back at me.
Taking a look into the AV cloud, Biamp gets certifiable, and how much AI is actually getting used in the workplace. All that and more next on AV Week. This is AV Week, episode 689, recorded Friday, November 1st, 2024. Bad AI. This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of audio-visual news and information. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. With us to discuss that news and information, first and foremost, from the swamps of New Jersey, Bill O'Donnell and Rutgers. How are you, sir?
I am, first and foremost, I am the creamy Oreo center of New Jersey. We are the spot where everyone wants to be. So how dare you? Secondly, I'm doing great.
You're in Jersey Shore?
We're the bedroom community that the Jersey Shore goes to. Anyway.
I have a dear old friend, George Tucker, who worked in Secaucus, and he would refer to that as the swamps of New Jersey. And you guys are really close to Secaucus.
Okay, no, all right, that is true. The Meadowlands is a swamp. Ooh. We actually have bedrock.
All right. The other gentleman that you're here laughing at me is Lisle Waldron. Lisle is from the University of Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome, sir.
Hey, long time no see, guys. Ooh, the swamps of New Jersey. I've just been to Orange, shout out Team Orange, rest in peace, Clark Kent. We had a fun show when I was out there. Jersey's not that bad, Tim, come on.
It's not that bad, but the rest of us states, it's one of those states that the rest of us, the other 49, get to laugh at every once in a while.
Touché.
And they have the Jets that try to play there.
Yeah, but let's not discuss Aaron and that debacle.
Yeah,
go Bears. Go Bears.
Go Bears, indeed. First story comes to us from My Tech Decisions. You can find it other places. A new study from Jabra reveals a striking disconnect in AI adoption across workplaces. While an overwhelming 84% of business leaders, hang on to that for a second, business leaders express confidence in artificial intelligence, only about a quarter of office workers are actually using AI tools in their daily work. This highlights a significant gap between executive enthusiasm and practical implementation. Study, which surveyed 1,800 AI decision makers and 4,200 employees across multiple countries, found that although most business leaders are bullish on AI's potential, 82% admit they need better understanding of how to effectively deploy it. Feels a little bit like the bosses see a shiny thing and think it's awesome. The research also exposed a notable generational divide, with younger workers showing significantly more openness to AI adoption, and revealed that 90% of employees remain skeptical about using AI for creative tasks. Not overly surprised about the age gap there. Lisle, we'll start with you on this. What are we using AI for on a daily basis? You guys are both on campuses, so what are you guys using it for?
For me, I have what I hope for and what I'm using it for on my desk, on my desk. I'm short-staffed in the administrative component, so I've leaned heavily on Copilot because, funny enough, it's a part of our Microsoft license. We're a Microsoft shop. But I can guarantee you, I was presenting in a conference last year at the Hilton down here, and I'm going through how I was using AI to help me do my budgets, my operating budgets for the year.
Okay.
The VP of my quality and institutional effectiveness stands up in the audience and goes, wait, nobody told me I could do that. I'm like, it took them 2 weeks, it took me 3 days. I'm like, well, you didn't use AI, right? So there you go. So where is it actually? Look, I'll be real honest with you. Nobody's really using it for much past fix my emails. I'm just being honest. If you're lucky and you have a crackshot whiz-bang IT team or computer sciences department, there are some applications where the tentacles of AI are coming into some business processes. But beyond that, I think the stats in that article are just 100% correct. Nobody knows what to do with it. And all the people that want to do something with it, Tim, exist on two sides of a spectrum. You have the younger people and people like myself that are just trapped in an old person's body who want to use AI to make their lives a little bit easier. But then you have an executive class, 84%, that's a huge number, that somehow have magically convinced themselves, because this boils down to money, that there is an ability for AI to reduce their staffing budgets. This is what it boils down to. This is why they're so bullish about it. They're not going to say that because it's a bad look when you come out, in a report or on TV, you're on Squawk Box and you say, well, I expect AI to kill half the jobs in my company. That's not a good look, right? But I think realistically speaking, what are we using it for? I want to use it to do some help desk filtering. I want to use it for, some triaging of support calls when it comes in. I look forward to the day when it can. Beyond those things, I'm not sure I'm going to get an AI bot that's going to design my classroom for me on a budget. That's still a Lisle thing. That's still Lisle working with somebody up in Sudi, or Lisle, chiming in somewhere in Florida. It's not yet been a co-pilot that's going to do it for you and figure out your product selection. Bill?
So that's the fun bit, is that just this past week, Cisco had their WebEx1 conference. And in it, they suddenly went, oh, hey, we also came up with our own workspace designer tool, and which I found really funny, only because for, say, a room that was about 20 to 30 feet long, they suddenly said, oh, you're going to need this many IP microphones and this and that. And I'm going, sure, no problem. No.
So it was a bad AI then.
Listen, it's their way to maximize. You need this many products, you need this much camera, and I understand that.
I understand that, but what I'm getting at here, and a little bit what Lisle was saying is there's AI certainly, right, and we all know that AI hallucinates.
Yeah.
So was their example hallucination, or was it really in other words, does Cisco really think you need 20 microphones for a 20-foot room?
No, although they will say that if you have a 40-foot room, they're going to say you need to have at least eight of their table mic array units for proper coverage, and even then it's marginal. And I'm going, not so much. But strangely enough, their new IP ceiling mic, you only need 2. And I'm like, isn't this the same mic that's put on the table? But it could be a certain amount of elements or virtual elements. I'm not gonna go off the top there.
Well, yeah, it's a positioning item, I'm sure.
Yeah. The other part of it was that they had talked, and Lyle's right about this. The next thing they were working up was, how do we do triage for folks calling in? Like, they literally showed like a triage assistant that you could set up within about 10 to 15 minutes or so. And as long as you set up the guardrails correct, I could call in and say, hey, to the doctor's office and say, hey, I wanted to get the results of my blood test and everything. As long as I could verify it, here you go. And if you couldn't, the system said, all right, here, I need to actually direct you to a real person. But like I said, the core of that, and Lyle's dead right about this, that is to trim down the amount of folks that they need to have on staff at a call center.
Bring that back for a second, and let's get back into higher ed and corporate, right? Lisle already said that he's short-staffed. Bill, I know just universities in general are short-staffed, right? Former tech manager.
Yes, we've never been funded right. Let's go there.
No, absolutely not, right? And with the more AV people that get sucked into IT, that's a whole different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
What is the value, or how do we get to the value of leveraging AI? And I'm going to pick on control systems for a second, because that's the best vehicle I've got right now. But leveraging those in some way, and I am not an AI expert, so don't throw things at me, but getting those systems that are already touching and controlling, because they're control systems, our systems in our classrooms and our lecture halls, and saying, good morning, Lyle. You got 3 problems over here on the West
Okay,
Hall.
so you want HAL.
Yeah.
But if I'm me, because y'all have invoked me so eloquently already. So my thing is, and I think we were seeing this in our pre-convo, my issue with all of this is we're making some assumptions and some comfort assumptions about AI. And in all fairness to us, we've seen massive progress in an extremely short piece of time. What we've gotten from ChatGPT open to the public in the year or two that we've had is like 1,000 years of humankind development in a short space of time. So it's not to understate where things are, but let's just get some fact points here. AI is very inaccurate. There was an article I just read somewhere that a CEO for some company went to Microsoft. She asks Copilot to pull up a picture of her leadership team for her company, and it got it wrong. Right? It's not where we think it is. We also, because we've now co-opted and just casually bandied about the term AI, we keep having a mental formation of HAL, which is AGI, and not realizing that when Cisco and QSC and all these guys and Biamp are talking about AI, it's really like advanced machine learning. So here's a ton of data coming to you, a ton of signal streams, camera control data, whatever. Let me, with my million hands, just really pull all this into a sensible thing quickly. It's not HAL. So when we confuse those things, these expectations become wild. The accuracy plus that, right? So where I think it is look, I'm okay with the execs up at the top thinking that they're going to just shelve the workforce, cut it in half. You can think that all you want. Good luck, try it. We have a ton of gaming companies that have done it. They've tried to replace, programmers thinking AI could program for them with mixed success. This is not going to work the way we think it is. It is going to work for that call center. It will help me with my ticketing system. Here is my grain of salt in my closing argument to this. This is based on what I know and what we have in the public available domain, Tim, for AI right now. 6 months from now, somebody could, fix nuclear fusion. Somebody could get enough power, and this is electricity I'm talking, base level, so that our existing models could crunch more. Or somebody could develop the Terminator chip that they had to come back in time to destroy. I don't know. So, but right now, where AI is right now, I remain unconvinced, although I am hopeful that there is an algorithm that's going to say to me, hey, Lisle, I know that usually on a Wednesday you teach this, so I've already pulled up this document for you, and the projector's already on, and No, we're with current tech, I think we're like 18 months out to 36 months. And I'm just concatenating
still not
that.
bad though, dude.
No, it is, but I'm saying that to you because of what I just, what I started with, which is we've gotten so much development so quickly.
Oh yeah.
So I can't say to myself, well, 5 years from now, it's going to be like 18 months.
No, dude, here's the thing. If one thing that COVID taught me is I stopped asking people what's going to happen in 5 years.
Oh, for sure.
My limit now is 18 months.
Yeah, 18 is mine. 18
if you
is
hear
mine.
me ask longer than that, you can email me. Next story comes to us from our friends over at Rave. Gary Kay highlights a critical turning point in AV technology where the proliferation of manufacturer-specific cloud platforms is creating a little bit of a headache for users and integrators. The solution, according to Kay, may lie with Excite. Now, I know Excite, actually former Crestron guy over in Israel that founded it. It's a vendor-agnostic cloud management platform already being white-labeled by players like Planar, Bose, and Legrand. The platform is gaining traction as the industry's first comprehensive solution for unified cloud management, potentially transforming how AV systems are monitored and maintained. This development could mark a crucial step towards standardization in an AV industry that historically has struggled with fragmentation. Experts predicting it could help drive simplified system monitoring for IT directors and AV users. Mr. Bill, what do we want or need from an AV cloud management system?
I mean, I won't lie. Everyone keeps saying we all want one pane of glass. We're still getting there. And you said the magic words there. We want to have everything on a standardized, which just about every manufacturer, I mean, let's just go down to the quick bit here, either SDVOE or HDBaseT. How many manufacturers have, that's a pretty straightforward.
Half a dozen other protocols, by
those are, but those are like the easy ones. Those are layup ones that folks should be doing, and they don't even do that. So we're going to go into cloud, we're going to go into the cloud level on this. Okay. I'd like things to be a little bit standardized and simplified, but I mean, here's the easy one. If I go on on just Zoom Cloud,
Yeah.
I can go and use that already, and I can push updates to stuff that's on Logitech, stuff that's on Poly, stuff that's on D10. I can update the Zoom controller, I can update the computer, no problems. Except one. Except one. And this is, I get it. It's a closed architecture. I understand that. But anytime we have folks who have any kind of Crestron gear or anything like that, I go, you got to talk to your integrator. Well, you guys can do that. I'm like, everyone else allows us to push the firmware and standardize stuff on our level. But those guys, it's a closed architecture system. I get it. I'm not going to say, how dare you? But it does make things a lot easier. And as of late, Zoom's been kind of my, one pane of glass because I can read everything else. And I can even, backfill in some of my older legacy tech into it.
Lisle, the first part that Bill was talking, you were shaking your head. So
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do not want AVWeek listeners, because I am an avid AVWeek listener, to think I'm negative Nancy today. But let me give you I've never give the multiple choice answer, Tim. I'm always the essay thesis guy. But I can do multiple choice to this one. Not gonna happen. 3 words, right? More power to Excite. I think the product is fantastic. I have no issue with the product. Where the issue lies for me, it actually stems from the convo you all had in a recent show about QSC and that whole acquisition. Yeah. There is no impetus for companies to be a part of a standard until and insofar the European Union says, monopoly, open it up. And let's be real. Based on that, we just saw the third largest company, give or take, just sucked up into a division. Yeah, go over there and sit by that table. AV is not that important broad scale. It's gorgeous, it's front facing, but we're not Microsoft, right? Mm-hmm. We're not. So I can't foresee for right now the European Union going, Crestron, Extron, you all need to play nice, get it together. I'm not seeing that, right? So in the absence of that, will this work? I'm sure it will, but will it be sustainable? I'm not sure. There's going to be a lot of reverse engineering. There's going to be a lot of support teams getting calls. Hey, I need a driver for this, or I need I need some kind of protocol to connect to that. I think it's too much. It's too unwieldy. I think it's the 10,000 foot in the air goal. I think this is what we all would want. A single pane of glass that I could look at everything. But understand what that means from an out-of-the-box thought. If we had that single pane of glass, it means I could have a AMX system to my left, an Extron to my right, and a Crestron in the middle, and I'm okay. Because those are just front-end interfaces that are already opaque to the end user. They're just touching a touchscreen, right, Tim? They're not doing anything else. System comes on, system comes off. But for me in the back end, why am I a Crestron shop? I'm a Crestron shop because I'm already tied into Fusion or XIO Cloud. I'm tied into those processors. I'm not giving that up. I don't care that this Biamp processor could do some processing for me. I need to monitor this, and I can't. So I can't see corporations that are profit-driven and market share-driven giving up market share because we want openness. I'm not seeing it.
So let me ask this, because this has been... This is Tim's opinion. This we kind of got off script here.
Disclaimer.
This has been one of the thorns in the side of IT managers and higher ed directors for years, right? It's been 10 years since I was a tech manager, and it's longer than that. And that is the lack of standardization and the lack of interoperability. Lisle's right. Every corporation is coin operated, as a couple of dear friends of mine have said very well. And I get it, right? You have to make a profit. You have to make money. Don't misunderstand what I'm going to say. But the IT industry, long ago, standardized on communication, standardized on cabling, standardized on the pinouts of a category cable. Mm-hmm. That's something that we constantly point to, is the IT industry. Go, well, why can't AV be more like IT? Mm-hmm. Because the manufacturers, by and large, kind of prevent that sometimes, right? Now, yes, they have made inroads into interoperability by leveraging this standard or that standard. But there's still some hurdles to overcome and get to that, that euphoria, that nirvana of interoperability.
Well, remember Utology. This is not new to us, Tim. So let's think of this from both pro AV for a second, and then let's look at not pro AV, right? Definite consumer stuff. We had Utology trying to do this years ago. It becomes impossible if you're trying to control somebody else's stuff. I mean, nobody's here saying to Ford and Chevrolet that their car operating system should be the same. So I want to give a lot of room to a Crestron and an Extron and say, well, yeah, part of the reason, this is not that way, it's because can AV, in a bid to be more IT-esque, adopt more formal standards? Yes. But let's look at the one, well, to my recollection, my quick recollection, the one formal protocol that I'm aware of in my little AV space, Matter. How long have I waited for Matter to come into my home and fix the issue? Exactly. So if we can't get it, Tim, for Siri, Bixby, Google in my house with my plugs and my bulbs and my Yale lock on my door, and remember, I'm on an island, I'm not even in New Jersey, right? How can I realistically mandate or expect from a Tron or anybody else that they are forced to do this thing? One last point I think is really important. Okay, we're too quick and too easy to blame, because of real history we have with these companies, the companies themselves for being so proprietary. Right, Crestron gets the worst name out of all of it. I often think it's unfair to them, but that's a different story for a different
I don't think I just so it's been said really quickly, Lyle. I think all of them have their own proprietary, and they're all
right. I mean, for anybody who's old enough in AV, a lot of these things started because they were homebrewed. Right, it's because of IT protocols that they've been able to jump on some of these bandwagons. But that's it. I'm saying, okay, even if we want to blame Tim, the manufacturers, fine. Have we, as a consumer block, used the power of the purse to say to the Crestrons and the Extrons, we are not buying DM. We are not buying DM Lite. We're not buying some whiz-bang thing that you've come up with, other companies that I'm not aware of, QSys and whoever else. No, we've continued to buy those things, which is why they continue to R&D and fund them. Everybody complains about NVX being a proprietary protocol, but they're selling like hotcakes according to Crestron. So is there an issue, or is this us who, are taking a highbrow philosophical, listen, my middle name is open source because I have no money, Tim, but come on, DM forever.
Really quickly, this is probably 10 years ago. A dear friend of the shows, a dear friend of mine, Bradford Ben, worked for Harman at the time. And I gave him a hard time because they kept making products that had RGB HV. They had 15 pin, connectors. And I said, when are you going to stop putting VGA connectors on it? He goes, when customers stop asking for it. So you're right.
Thank you.
You are absolutely right. And if you're wondering what Matter is, go look it up. It is a home protocol that is
that we're waiting on still. One day.
Last story comes to us from our own site, AVNation. Biamp has announced this week that it has received Zoom Room certification across its entire line of medium and large room bundles. The certification covers 8 different configurations featuring the company's Tessera Forte and Devio audio processors, making it one of the most quote-unquote comprehensive certified offerings in the market. Bundles, which include Biamp Parlay, beam tracking microphones, and automated setup technology, promises to simplify installation for integrators while delivering superior audio quality for remote meetings. According to Joe Andrulis, Biamp's Executive Vice President of Corporate Development, these solutions will provide seamless integrations with Zoom rooms of all sizes, offering features like acoustic echo cancellation and AI noise reduction to enhance the virtual meeting experience. Lyle, why is Teams and Zoom certification important?
Well, I guess the thing you should have asked is, do I think it's important?
Yeah,
I actually don't. I don't, through reasons practical, but I do see it as a very important guideline to have. Okay. So because of the agnostic nature that Bill spoke about, with Zoom specifically, what we have here is a situation where what Zoom has done is said, hey guys, so these are things that we will stand behind. And I can guarantee you as a company, if you have a problem and you call us, we know enough about this particular line of products or product that we can assist. Okay. This is no different to my support, side note, my asterisk line in our emails, which is we will support our faculty with any idea they have. However, if you're using an LMS not named Canvas, if you're using a lecture capture system, not named MediaSite, I don't have any staff or any expertise that could help you. So my certified systems, MediaSite, Zoom, Canvas, you operate outside of that paradigm, can't help you. It therefore then says to me, Tim, that, yeah, you could go use that camera from Alphatron, even though it's not, Zoom certified. But you have to now understand that if you do have a problem, your first port of call cannot be Zoom. It can't be the Zoom documentation. It can't be Zoom's phone number. It can't be their chatbot. It's going to be your in-house expertise and your third-party manufacturer. So I love the fact that I have that. I often, before I make a decision, go look at the certified lines. I will then sometimes I go to a manufacturer. So let's say I go to Logitech. And the camera that I end up picking that's best for my situation may not even be the one that was Zoom certified. So I think it's a benefit on all sides. It helps Zoom to corral their support experience. It helps them to not stretch themselves too thin and make promises they can't keep, as well as Microsoft. And I also think it's a boon to the manufacturers because it lets us know that y'all, at least, even though this product is not certified, we do know that y'all are familiar enough with the platform to say, okay, I'm still going to try this other guy, but if I'm having trouble, you think you could help me? And I've had a ton of that with a ton of manufacturers myself.
All right. Bill, same question. Is why is it important?
Well, so for example, like in our case, we actually have been putting in a bunch of Zoom rooms or Zoom room for Windows. And Rutgers loves to be the school of yes and. In our case, we'd love to have here, we want to be able to hook up our laptop and we want to have an in-room PC. I don't design these things. I handle the private spaces. And Lyle's laughing because there's another group, my buddy Tim.
Well, Lyle's laughing and I'm giving you a weird look. So I'm trying to process it in my brain.
It's okay. The reason being is that for us, it used to be, oh yeah, here we'll just get a generic USB capture to HDMI to USB capture card. Yeah. Okay. And I would go, oh yeah, sure, no problem. And then Zoom has actually kept a very specific list because if you don't, the thing will go and say, congrats, it's another camera. And if you want to, and we're trying to simplify stuff for our faculty. We have folks who have advanced degrees in sociology and things like that. They have a ton of differential data that they want to show up. They do not really want to learn, oh, wait, I need to select this camera instead of that. They just want to hit the room PC button and go. So in that case, yes, I understand why Zoom is very for in certain cases, yes, having stuff that's specifically on that list makes, as Lyle put it, if it's on the list, then I go, okay, I have a direct realm of where I can go and say, okay, this is the known issues with this. All right, let's work around this. Whereas if you just said, hey, I went over and I got some stuff off of B&H. We just plugged it in and it's acting kind of wonky. Listen, I'll still go out and help them and everything, but I'm like, there might be, it's like...
It's a disclaimer.
Yeah.
No, what I was just going to chime in there with Tim is, I think is it really important to understand the role of what certifications are. I actually don't find them to be that bothersome. I find them to be very useful. But I also think, for instance, I'm not the only person that has implemented Biamp for years into Zoom rooms. It's been happening. And I'll tell you specific to higher ed, because you just happen to have a higher ed panel today. The fun part about most, if not all, of Zoom and Teams certified gear is it's not actually geared towards classrooms and auditoria. It's geared towards meeting rooms and conference rooms. So fun fact, if you've had to deploy Zoom rooms in particular or Teams rooms in particular, or heck, any video conferencing platform, even if it's just a PC with, software on it, there are no certified things for them most of the time. We're using what we can with whatever coverage spreads we use, and we have to put it together and figure it out. I am still dreaming of the day I can get a sound bar that I can put into a classroom, because sound bars go under a TV at the front, but then the faculty member's back is turned. So how does this work? So do I put it on the wall at the back? None of this is geared for me anyway. So again, for me, it's a guideline. Here are things that you can use that have absolutely no problems. Great. If not, I still have to go dig through the dust and sort it through myself anyway.
That'll be a good place to stop it, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Bill O'Donnell from Rutgers University. Thank you, sir. How do people connect with you?
So folks can find me on LinkedIn. I am not all that much on Twitter, but you can find me there on the original OD. I'm mostly moving over to Blue Sky, and I'll be setting that up shortly. But you can definitely always ping me on LinkedIn.
And you can also find Bill at your local Comic-Con, most likely.
Sitting next to my wife. She's the one doing. She's doing Power Girl right now. She's
an incredible artist, just
yes.
for the record. Yes.
Hey, shout out to wifey. Hey.
Yeah.
Lisle, thank you so much. Lisle Waldron from the University of Trinidad and Tobago. How do people connect with you, sir?
It's always fun. LinkedIn, but I'm not there as often as I should be. I try because of HETMA, but I fail most days. It's my first name dot last name at utt.edu.tt. And here's a first one for the AVWeek show. If you really want to get me, if you really want to dive into my brain, Tim, you call me. That's on 868-683-2442. No, Bill, don't freak out. My number's already on the internet. That's why I will give it out. Okay. So I'm there on WhatsApp and I'm there on iMessage and FaceTime because I'm an elitist iPhone user. So 868-683-2442.
I think you're right. That is the first time anybody's given out their phone
Mm-hmm.
number. So.
Yeah. Fun fact, I was listening to Ryan Leslie in a podcast, and he's like, the first social media there ever was text messaging.
Absolutely.
I'm like, he's right.
Yeah,
so just hit me up on iMessage, folks. You'll get an instant response. Email me. It'll take 24 hours.
The problem is all three of us are old enough to remember is when we got charged 15 to 20 cents per text message.
Nights and weekends.
Exactly.
Oh,
Note I said iMessage on WhatsApp, right? So don't actually text me. It might work out for you.
My name is Tim Albert. Do not follow me anywhere because I'm not very interesting. I'll complain about the Chicago Bears, especially after last week. But if you would like, go by our website. You can find me. Do it. Go to LinkedIn. I'm actually writing things that have nothing to do with AV now, so you can find me on LinkedIn. But go by the website, AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv. You will find this program and a host of others. Kind of sort of speaking about, all things NFL. We have a special coming down the pipeline with Crestron and the New York Giants. So that is coming down. This is posting Monday. So, yeah, it's Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. Or Thursday. I don't remember. Whenever Mitchell puts it out there. Right now, we've got a special up with our friends over at Shure talking about hybrid space audio. So you can check those both out at the website. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're tired of looking at my big dumb face, go subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. You just have to listen to me. And if you're listening to the podcast and wondering what Lisle and Bill look like, you can go watch them on YouTube. So either way, go the opposite direction. But yeah, go by the website, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. That is all the time we have for AV Week.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
Hello, this is Steve Greenblatt, host of AVNation's State of Control podcast. Each month, Rich Fregosa and I explore trending topics related to control programming and automation in the audiovisual industry. We speak with a variety of AV professionals who share their perspectives, knowledge, and experiences. Please join us for this monthly conversation. Check out A State of Control on avnation.tv or wherever you get your podcasts.